a beautiful day to be Deadpool. It's story time. Oh, story time. We got any fans of Mr. Rogers out there? Yeah! I'm a pretty big fan of Captain America myself. Are you all ready for story time? Yeah! That's good to hear, because I sure have a story to tell. Gosh, I love to talk. Today's story is a beloved bedtime classic, mashed up with a very profitable licensing agreement. You guessed it, it's CinderPool. Thanks, I came up with that myself. All right. Well, that doesn't work. Okay. Oh, look at these adorable pictures, by the way. Aren't these cute? I scribbled these myself, thank you. Once upon a time. You know what? It just feels wrong when I'm doing it with myself. Why don't we all say it together, shall we? 1, 2, 3.
Once upon a time.
See, isn't that so much more fun when we are all in this together? For those of you that didn't participate, get your head in the game! Anyway, upon that time, once, CinderPool lived in a big fancy mansion with his shiny-headed step-professor and a bunch of hideous step-mutants. The biggest one, Colossus, was always making up stupid rules that no one cared about. Like, stop labeling everyone else's food in the fridge with your own initials. And for the love of Feige, stop hanging your underpants from the ceiling fan. The other main step-mutant, Negasonic Teenage Warhead, such a cool name, was always just texting and rolling her eyes. They were both super jealous because CinderPool had a much, and I mean much larger fan base. I mean, this isn't called story time with Colossus, now is it? One day, an expendable non-union extra came running across the mansion grounds, screaming. King Thanos was planning the biggest battle of Phase 3, the last truly relevant phase. CinderPool desperately wanted to go to the big battle, but Colossus said no. Too dangerous. CinderPool don't know how to be part of team. And then Colossus ripped up CinderPool's nicest costume before Negasonic Teenage Warhead, again, such a cool name, made it explode into a million pieces with her mind powers. And then she popped her gum. So Gen Z. On fleek. Sigma. No cap. CinderPool was very bummed and felt very vulnerable and exposed. Minus 10,000 aura, as Negasonic would say. He ran out onto the mansion grounds, stumbling for dramatic effect. When all of a sudden, a big, strange, sparkly circle appeared. And from out of that big, strange, sparkly circle walked out CinderPool's very hairy god mutant, Wolverine! Come on, Wolvie, you have to actually step through the sparkly circle, otherwise the audience won't know that you're here. Yes! Oh, very hairy god mutant. I desperately want to go to the big battle, but my mean step mutants vaporize my costume!
Shut up!
Growled Wolverine lovingly.
What?
Well, I need a new costume. I have to go to the big battle.
Get another one. Stop whining. Why should I care?
Okay. Well, after that very sage and very Australian advice, CinderPool went off to the wardrobe department to get a freshly laundered costume, and then went to the big battle. CinderPool missed most of it, though, because he stopped for some delicious chimichangas along the way. You know, priorities, right? But rest assured, when CinderPool got there, the Avengers were still winning. Captain America looked so cool and so ruggedly handsome in those pants. And CinderPool's very hairy god being Wolverine was...
I'm going to Pim's.
I know, right? Bye, I guess. Okay, well, that honestly checks out, but then, when the aliens were finally fleeing in defeat, CinderPool saw something on the steps of one of the spaceships. It was a single glove. Oh, it was so fancy. Big and gold with beautiful jewels. I think there were 6 of them, not that that's relevant information. I wonder who this fits, thought CinderPool to himself, before trying it on. After some clicking, whizzing, and whirring, it adjusted right to CinderPool's arm. Then, out of nowhere, Iron Man came flying in out of left field screaming, "Hey, take that off! Don't you dare take this sacrifice from me! I really don't want to be Iron Man until I'm 90. In fact, I would rather be doomed than play Iron Man again. Doomed, I tell you!" Stop it. If any of you were confused by that joke, don't worry, we're all a little confused. In a good way. And then, other, much less relevant Avengers came running in too, saying things like, "Put that down, it's not a toy, whatever you do, do not snap." So obviously CinderPool snapped. Oh, CinderPool snapped a bunch, both physically and mentally. Then the weirdest thing happened. I think it was completely unrelated, but half the people kept disappearing, and then reappearing, and then disappearing again. So many people were crying. Tony said "I love you" like 3,000 times. It was a mush fest. But eventually, everyone came back. But then the Avengers tackled CinderPool, ripped off his new favorite glove, and then when they remade the movie, they CGI'd Tony's face onto CinderPool's majestic body, and it went on to become the most profitable, if you will, quite successfully profitable. It made a lot of money, okay? In the entire FCU. That's the Feige Cinematic Universe. I'm still workshopping that acronym. I feel like there's just one too many letters. But don't worry, everything honestly worked out for CinderPool because CinderPool went on to make his own, even more successful franchise. Yeah. So successful, in fact, that he was eventually invited to be part of the Avengers Endgame 2, Electric Boogaloo. Coming to theaters at, well, some point. Well, that's the end. Game. See what I did there? Okay, well, don't patronize me. That didn't sound like real laughter. I practiced that joke in the shower all morning. Okay. Anyway, thank you all for coming to another illustrious story time with your almighty